After some pretty insane marketing, some great build up, really displaying a lot of the tension involved with this project, Zach Cregger is back for his next directorial effort with Weapons, a film that looked like it was going to have me more anxious than Pedro Pascal on a Fantastic Four press tour. With that said, guys, let's get into it.
Every other class had all their kids. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty.
I have to say, I was really excited for this project. I mean, the way that this was marketed with this CCTV footage of these kids running really weirdly, from the initial build up to this movie getting this insane praise and hype behind it, I got really excited for my screening for Weapons, and I have to say that I did quite enjoy my time with it, but I don't think that this is the next horror masterpiece that it might have been hyped up to be. Similar to Barbarian, which was a film from Zach Cregger that definitely intrigued me, had some great scares and a very interesting narrative. It didn't quite put all the pieces together in a way that made me love it as much as so many people do. And Weapons suffers a similar fate as that. However, I did enjoy this a little bit more than Barbarian. I think the way that this film presents its narrative within its structure was very fascinating, and I think the strongest aspect of this film, telling this creepy story from all of these different perspectives, building on one another, some going through similar events as other characters, but seeing it from a different perspective. That type of writing and flair within a narrative like this just makes this a little bit more unique and interesting than what it could be, and I'm all here for that. But this is all built around the mystery of it all. Why at 2:17 in the morning did all of these kids from the same classroom run out into the night and disappear and do this weird Naruto T-pose run all the way out? The film plays with that mystery in some interesting ways. I don't think the answer it gives is crazy satisfying, and I think it is one of the shortcomings of this movie, where it does have this crazy mystery and it wants to build so much suspense, and it successfully does so. I think the film at its peak can be very creepy. It's surprisingly funny as well. There were just so many great moments of dark humor where the whole audience was laughing and having a great time, me included. And those moments worked so much to the benefit of the film and give it just a distinct voice. And I really appreciated that tone and levity in such a bleak and what could be a very dark horror movie. I think the film has great performances from its ensemble, primarily Julia Garner in this lead role, who is this teacher who is suspected of having some involvement in the disappearance here, as well as Josh Brolin, who is just a worried father and he's trying to do his own investigation into what is going on. The way that the film slowly unravels, I thought, was very satisfying, and the end of a lot of these chapters and perspectives were always left on a note that was just so creepy and wanted you to go back to that scenario because it just ends on just such a cliffhanger. I think the end of Julia Garner's one especially was very creepy and one of the most disturbing moments of this movie, and just a brilliant scare set up perfectly by Zach Cregger. Moments like that I really enjoyed and appreciated. But I don't think the film gives you that all-out horror as much as you might expect. I think at moments it definitely does and is very creepy. I was on the edge of my seat. I was covering my eyes. All of that stuff at moments. But is this one of the scariest movies I've ever seen? Absolutely not. I think the fact that it goes for that levity in moments is what takes back from the all-out horror of this movie. And I actually do think, as I said before, that it works to the benefit of this film. But I do feel a little bit shortchanged because the way that this was marketed, I was expecting an all-time classic in terms of just being something that would give me nightmares. I don't think Weapons is going to do that for me, but it does deliver on some creepy moments that make it worth the price of admission. I don't really want to give too much away about this movie because so much of it is set up on the mystery behind it all. And I do think going down the rabbit hole and discovering what is going on here is satisfying enough. But as I said, I think the answers it gives feel a little bit generic in terms of just a horror reveal. I really wanted a little bit more out of it, and did feel a little bit shortchanged when it was like, oh, that's all it is. It just felt so convenient to the narrative, and I was really expecting something a little bit more outside the box than that. And I think Barbarian, Zach Cregger's previous film, delivered on that a little bit more than what Weapons did. So I think in terms of giving you that satisfying conclusion, I think Barbarian is a bit stronger, but I think as an overall film, Weapons was far more enjoyable for me as a viewing experience, because I think it manages to capture on a lot of different emotions, from just being terrified one minute, laughing the next, and feeling a little bit sad and going through a bit of a poignant moment at the very end of this film. I think Weapons, all in all, was a fun horror experience that I do recommend to you guys. And as a score, I'm going to give this film a 4 out of 5 because I think it's a great film that is worth your time. And those are my thoughts towards Weapons. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.